need the charger. It's my camera. It's too. I can't unplug it. So okay.
Okay. Well, we're live.
Hi, John. Welcome, everybody. This is Mental Arts with John Worthington. I'm Terri Stangl, and today, John, I thought we would start out with a question that I recently saw from our friend Lisa.
Okay.
And she was asking you about a phrase that she and I both heard you use, which is a core of individuality. And she was like, okay, can you talk about that on that? So how can we get into it? I don't know what a core of individuality is.
Well, the thing is I'm not really sure what individuality is. I know what a core is. That's just like the center of an apple or something like that. Okay, but individuality is a little bit more difficult to understand, I think, because I'm pretty sure that's a varying definition depending on the person who's defining it. And so I'm not really sure that I understand what an individuality is. I'm sorry?
Okay, so it's funny that you should say this thing about defining it, because you know me, I love to do research. So, when I heard this question, I thought, okay, well, what is that thing? And believe it or not, I found a few different definitions about what individuality is. So,
well, of course you did. I'm shocked.
So I thought maybe I could run a couple by these and see what you think about them. Maybe that would give you a place to start on with this idea of what it is. Okay, so here's one definition I found, and it says the quality or character of a particular person or thing that distinguishes them from others of the same kind, especially when strongly marked.
When strongly what?
Strongly marked. Like I think they mean like strongly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm with. All right. Okay. Well, let me think about that one for just a second here. Okay. Okay.
It's like, what makes me different than somebody else? Or what makes you different from another person? Or
Okay, then I have it's how I often think about things in terms of visuals, okay, and so because I check about the veracity of things, about trying to visualize how it could go together, and so for instance, can one be an individual wearing really cool cowboy boots while one's doing the boot scoot boogie?
You mean up in the whole line?
Yeah, like that.
I think you can. It's kind of in the way you do the moves.
Okay, so you can be an individual while you're being the same as everybody else.
I think so.
Okay, but we all seem to think that individuality is being different than everybody else, right?
I'm unique. Yeah, there is a lot of that.
Okay, not to put anybody down or to say they're right or wrong, but how does this work? That you can be individual, but you have to act like everybody else. That doesn't seem to make as much sense to me as it does to perhaps other people.
Okay. So in other words, you're I guess I'm not quite following your point here. Are you saying that this definition doesn't make sense to you because in fact there's lots of ways we do things the same, or?
No, I'm saying that people in general tend to pretend as though, or tend to act as though, or tend to present themselves as though. Take your pick, whatever fits there. People look like, for whatever reasons, that they're trying to be individualistic by being the same. And so I look at that and I think, okay, so what the dickens is that about? Because everybody holds on to this whole thing. I am an individual. I have freedom, and I, by God, shall not wear a mask. I'm an individual, and thou shalt not take my individuality from moi, motherfucker. You know, I mean, Ron DeSantos kind of is the personification of that particular spiritual entity. I'm pretty sure.
So, okay, so what you're saying is that really isn't about individuality. That may be, you know.
No, it isn't. It's a little more childish than individuality, I think. So I look at that definition and I think, well, that definition must have been written by somebody who's really into childish behavior, because it doesn't really differentiate between adult individuality, for instance, and childish individuality. It looks to me like it's all being lumped as the same kind of thing, and that's silly. Well, to me, it's silly. To the guy who wrote that, obviously, it makes perfectly good sense. And I mean, who the hell am I to argue with him? I'm just telling you my opinion. I think that's goofy, but okay. But I'm sure that I would have thought it was great. It is. All right. Actually.
So let me see if I'm with on this. What you're saying is, when people say, "This is my individuality," that's a nice word, but it isn't really describing what they're talking about.
Apparently not. No. Okay. Is that the only definition you have on that one? If that, they shortchanged you.
Okay. Next. Thank you. Next.
Oh, with more. Who knew there'd be more with you? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Individuality or selfhood is the state or quality of being an individual, whatever the hell that means, particularly in the case of humans, of being a person unique from other people and possessing one's own needs or goals, rights, and responsibilities.
Wow. I kind of like this definition here, because it includes a concept that you don't really run into much in Western thought.
What's that?
Okay, it's not really presented very well, but it's still there. It's that I believe it's on the island of Okinawa. There's a group of people, or a cluster of people who are over 100.
Oh yeah,
Yes, that's the one, right?
Yep.
Okay, and one of the characteristics of those people is what they call an ikigai. Well, that's how I would say it, because I'm a gringo and I can't speak Japanese. I'm sure that it's not said that way, but to us gringos, that's how it looks like. So that's how we're going to say it. Okay, that's how I'm looking at it. Excuse me, all Japan and Japanese speakers. I'm a goofball. I don't know how to say this properly, but the word's ikigai. Okay, look it up or something, and learn how to say it properly, and then tell me. But anyway, here's the concept. It's something that you get up in the morning to do. Okay. The illustration that they used with this was this relatively elderly lady who picked tea. And she went out with the girls, the comadres, the whatever you want to call them, every morning, and she picked teas and gossiped all day. But what she got up in the morning for was to plan a party, because her ikigai, the thing that she did for the world is she planned parties. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing, I'm pretty sure, right? Because it made her happy, and she had something to do all of the time. Wow, what a good concept. Well, the way that I learned to think about that thing was a bit more, shall we say, robust than just ikigai. Cute thing I do. Look, I'm a party planner. I think it's a little more forceful than that. I think that it's actually a function of the spirit itself. I don't think that it's something that we can decide on even. I think that our ikigai, or the thing that we do, or the thing that gives us value, the reason why we get up in the morning, is something that the spirit itself is in cahoots with us to accomplish. That's probably the best way I can say that, okay? And so consequently, this whole idea of having a specific function is the result of seeing what you do differently than everybody else in the world. And if you can see what you do differently, then you're going to know what your ikigai or your specific function actually is. And boy, now that kind of redefines individuality by a lot. I mean, you can be part of the tribe, but you're the one that does that thing. Nobody else can lay a finger on what you do. You do that better than anybody.
Okay.
You know, it's like LeBron, right? No, I'm not going to stand between him and the basket and say, no, you can't dunk on me, motherfucker. Hey, look, I'm bad. I am so damn bad that he's gonna act like I ain't even there. He's gonna jump over my ass, okay, swing, and still dunk it right over me. All right, I don't have that ikigai, okay, and so why should I even try to do that kind of thing? I shouldn't. I should see what I do differently, not what I do the same as everybody else. And so, how can I act the same as everybody else and have a specific function that is unique to me? And so, let me see if I can explain that. Why again is it you have to have a gun? Why is it that you think that you have rights that you don't really have? For instance, why do Karens exist? Because
they think they've got rights. Yeah.
Have rights. Yes, all the Karens that you see on YouTube, etc., all of them have rights that are being violated and also don't exist.
Okay, so let me
don't even exist, but that's a different story. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I think it sounds like you're I mean, the part we haven't talked about is the unchanging core idea. So
Right.
yeah, I think you're sort of starting to get at that with this description, because when I'm hearing you're saying individuality. Yeah, I mean, if we really get to it, yeah, we have this unique thing, but
Yes.
it's not what we think it is, or it's something.
It's not what we beat our chests about.
Ah.
It's not even what we inflate our chests about for you girls. I mean, it's just it just ain't any of that stuff. It's what we actually do in the world. It's not how we look. It's not how we dress. It's not our influencer. It's just not being on Facebook. It's not having followers. None of those things. Zero. It has to be about something other than that, right? It has to be about what it is that we do in the world. That's what gives us our individuality. Okay, and so to say that we have an unchanging core of individuality that's the same as everybody else's, how is that individual? Huh?
Yeah,
Say what?
it's not. Well, but sometimes people will assert that they have this unchanging core, but what that amounts to is just a list of what they wills and they won'ts. Or you can't make this.
I don't think that's true.
Oh yeah.
I just don't think that's true. I think that list that you're talking about there has to do with what it is that they're scared to death to do.
Why do you think that?
Well, all agreements are actually safe. Now, everybody argues with that one forever in a couple of days, okay? That's what they do. Everybody argues and says, well, no, they're not really safe. I choose my agreements. Really? You chose to be a white man, did you? Or a black man? Or an Indian man? Or a Mexican man? I don't think you did.
Okay.
But yet, that's part of who you are, isn't it?
Yep.
And so that's sacrosanct, and you can't change that? Is that what you're telling me? Well, Karen, nice to meet you, or Kevin, as the case may be.
Okay. Okay, wait, and I got lost here. It seemed like that,
Okay, come on. I'll go over it. You got to mark what you got lost on, though. Okay, I'm sorry.
okay, all right. Well, where I got marked, where on one hand you're saying, yeah, you're born, with a race or culture, and then
You
you're
are?
saying, but then you're skeptical, but you can't change that. Well, and I'm like, well, no, you can't change that. But it isn't. But that
Let's say me. I'm sorry. I have a small person here who's talking to me about something, and it's necessary that I attend to her because she's a
okay.
small person. Okay. Okay.
Okay. I can tell that she's small.
Yeah. Her voice comes from way low on the floor. That's how you can tell. Yeah.
And of a certain pitch.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So again.
All right, so you were talking about this thing where you're born a certain race or a certain culture, but then it sounded like you were being skeptical of somebody saying, "But I can't change that."
Skeptical. I'm calling bullshit.
Okay, well,
I don't think that's true at all. I think you can change that anytime you want to. I mean, look. I mean, here's the thing. You know, I am a wonderful example of taking the boy out of the country, but not the country out of the boy. Okay, I exemplify that as a personal favor to the universe. Okay, and
yeah.
I have absolutely no choices in some of it, and other parts I do. Now, the thing is that I've mitigated a whole bunch of that country boy crap. That doesn't mean I don't go pick it up and use it to shall we say, muddy waters. Okay, I'll use that to even piss people off and so forth because it's fun to kind of do that. Because I can bet that they think that they're they have this unchanging core of individuality, that they are a white man or a Karen or a black woman or a privileged person who has earned respect by God. I have enough money that you will respect me. No, I won't. No, you don't have that kind of money. You're not ever going to have that kind of money because you're not a respectable person. How dare you say that? It's pretty easy. You're not a respectable person. If you were respectable, I wouldn't be saying that. It's pretty easy. Now, I don't believe that person can't be the way anything but where they are. I understand that they are that way. I understand that their programming is that way. I understand that they think that they're locked into that way. I got all that. It's okay. I don't mind about any of that being true. But do I believe it's true for them? No, fuck no. I don't believe that's true. I know better than that. I wasn't born yesterday. That just ain't fucking true. Sorry, but it ain't. Excuse me. Fucking
Yeah.
true is a French iteration of it ain't really true much. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can recall some conversations between you and I where I got on my high horse growing up in a liberal college town, thinking I knew how the world was supposed to be, and and that if you didn't agree with me, it was offending my sense of justice and rightness and all that, and you kind of threw a monkey wrench because you made it real clear, like, well, that's great, but I don't care. And that isn't necessarily what you think it is, and all that. It's basically all your actions made me look at that and go, oh, it's not written into the universe, and it's not, the only thing that I can and be and want.
Yes, it is. Be quiet, please. Yes, it is. It is written there. I'm duh. Okay, go ahead. I'll be good.
But yeah, it happens that sometimes when people are what they bring in thinking I know how this is, how the world, and then it gets questioned. That how dare you question, me, quote unquote, this me, or that I'm betraying myself.
Excuse me just a second. What is the trigger? What's the threat there?
I think it's that there's not a quote respect for or going along with their view of the world, or their sense of who they are, or
their unchanging core of individuality. That I'm saying, well, if that's there, then how come there's these two different things that are going on here that seem to be in conflict?
Oh yeah, you do that a lot. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, boy, I do that a lot. It's true, Terri. It's true.
But yeah, but so yeah, that is a perceived threat. That it's.
But it's a perceived. It is okay. Here's the thing. It isn't actually a threat because you don't really have that unchanging core of individuality. I don't care what you believe. You act one way with the police. You act another way with your boys. You act another way with the girls. You act another way with mom's house. You act another way completely at grandma's house. And when you go for Christmas dinner over at your aunt's place, you try to get the hell out of there as quickly as you can because you can't stand that bunch of people that she hangs with. So,
yeah. Well,
when you go to the mall, you say, "Oh, well, look at that. I don't do that. I do this. I'm more ignore that." No, come on, cut it out. Yes, you're the same. Who cares? You're inconsistent. That's what. Isn't that great? We can change our damn mind. We can do things different. We can do one thing one time, and we can do another thing another time, and we can say, "Well, I did both of them things." Yeah, don't have that on my bucket list no more. But no. We can't do that. We have to. I'm an individual. Well, I'm sorry. Does it hurt? Is it fatal? Will you get over it? You think? I hope you do. I don't mind you being an individual, but be an individual. Actually be a consistent individual. Do the whole thing all at one time. Please don't be an asshole about it. Actually do something real. I don't mind. I'll applaud. But if you're going to tell me that you're doing something when you're not, I wasn't born yesterday. I can see you're not doing anything. So why are you pissed off? Because I see that. Are you trying to hide it from everybody? You think nobody can see it except me? Well, maybe I'm the only one that got the chutzpah to tell you, but I'm telling you, it's out there in front of God and everybody. Really, it is.
Okay. So far we've got this thing called individuality. Isn't what people call it. Isn't this concept that it's unchanging. Well, that ain't true because I mean, I'm thinking about listening to my mom on the phone and how we knew within 5 seconds which of 5 people she was talking to just by the voice, you know.
Okay. However, we all do have something that only we do.
Okay.
My favorite story for this illustration is the following. Once upon a time, at least this is the urban legend, there was a street juggler who went every morning to the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris. And he went and stood in front of the statue or the lady or whatever, whatever it is, Mother Mary, the Notre Dame, and he juggled. And he juggled for an hour. Every day he went out there and he juggled for an hour. And of course the patrons went to the father and they said, "Monsignor, the fuck are you doing with this little bastard here in the church? Get him the fuck out of here. He's over there juggling in front of the statue of the Mother Mary." And the Monsignor said, "Yeah, I know. He pays his tithe that way. He does it every day. Do you?" The patron got pissed off, went home. I don't know. Okay.
Darn the priest for talking about something else. Okay.
I may have embellished it. I don't know, but it illustrates what I'm trying to say to you here. Okay. Everybody has something that they do. And it's great that they do that.
Yep. And that thing that you do isn't the.
Go ahead.
I say it's not dependent on whatever idea of who you are, quote unquote, or your this model. It's like you do that thing anyway through all the changing and
that's right. That's who you actually are. And you know what? It's a spiritual concept. It isn't because I want to do that. Watch, I'm going to do this thing. No, when people actually do something like that, it's a spiritual, it's an expression of the spirit, not expression of how wonderful they are in their body.
Yeah, that's a really different place to kind of focus this idea of individuality.
Well, it's not. Well, okay, maybe it is a different place, but it shouldn't be. I think it's something that we all do. Do you have any other definitions over there, or did we go through them all? Did we get them all done?
There's one more. A doctrine that in the interests of the individual are or ought to be ethically paramount. Also, conduct guided by such a doctrine. And then the second one is the conception that all rights, values, and duties originate in individuals.
Wow, saved the best for last, did you, huh? I see. Well, that's an interesting concept there. Okay, the first part of that is that it's a doctrine, right?
A doctrine that the interests of the individual are or ought to be ethically paramount. Yeah. My interests are paramount. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, but hold on a second. It's a doctrine, and so therefore it's a belief.
Yeah.
Okay, beliefs have certain characteristics, don't they? Beliefs kind of form what you consider to be real. In fact, whatever you believe is something you think is real. The two things go together. If it's real, you believe it. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know, and I don't really care. They're commingled somehow. Entanglement theory kind of thing. Okay, so look. Okay, here's the concept here that I'm looking at. A doctrine is damn near a religion, a religious concept.
Yeah.
Okay. A doctrine can also be the position of a country, as in the Monroe Doctrine. Okay. But in this case, it could also be considered as a regimen. I followed the doctrine of veganism, for instance. Like what the hell that is. Okay. I think veganism is you eat all the vegetables except bacon, and that you can take bacon is just it has carte blanche forgiveness from the Pope or something. I don't know what that is. Okay. Anyway, the idea here is that this doctrine of the individual is really important, because if it's true that I have to do what I do because the Spirit is expressing through me, then that doctrine must in fact have precedence over what somebody else is trying to tell me to do. Now, do I have to be rebellious to make that happen? Well, I certainly would hope not. I mean, I may, but will that really make a difference with whether I have permission? With some people, I guess it does. I mean, therefore, for quite some period of time, being gay you needed permission to be gay. In Texas right now, you have to have permission to be a woman, or you can only be a woman up until a certain point. And after that, you're no longer you're ward of the state after that.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, it's true. Okay, so that shouldn't be there, but it does exist. Okay, but the reason that it exists is because there is a relatively broad swath of the population who say that people can't be individuals. I mean, in Texas, they're saying that women cannot be individuals. They can't choose for themselves. That the state of Texas must, in fact, choose for them as what they, well, a
Yeah.
bunch of white women in Texas have to choose for them what they can do. That's what that one is.
Mhm.
And so whenever women get around to understanding that, that'll be fine. Okay? Okay.
But yeah, that yeah, it does become kind of a doctrine then. Yeah.
Right.
So here's another one that kind of takes us in a little different direction. It goes, embracing our individuality is essential for personal happiness. Trying to hide or change who we are to fit someone else's ideals lessens our sense of self-worth, causing self-esteem to plummet and insecurities to soar.
Yeah. So we have this whole bunch of things going on in the country today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trump screaming and yelling that the election was stolen from him. Everybody knows that it wasn't stolen from him. No, it wasn't. Trump knows it wasn't stolen from him. But he's yelling and screaming about it because it upsets people. Because there are people that listen to that and they say, okay, well, Trump's my boy, and so I have to agree with him. And whatever they say. I don't care. Okay. I mean, there were a bunch of people who went to Dallas yesterday to watch JFK and his kid to magically reappear. Who the fuck's that crazy? Okay, there they are. I'm good. But really, they're just going to walk down the street there? They're going to show up in the back of a black limousine? What? That doesn't make good sense. Who would think such stuff? Why are they on the news? Okay, now, are they being individuals? Boy, that was hard for me to wrap my mind around. I can't see how that can be true because an individual would have to think for himself. And obviously, these people are not thinking for themselves. They're being told what to think and they're agreeing with what they're told, not what they're not. I mean, if anybody thinks for themselves, they say, well, wait a second. That's never happened in the history of man that somebody just showed up on a certain date because we said so. Especially not been dead for 20 years or whatever. After 20 years, they're gone. He didn't ever go to Egypt, did he? He's gone then. He's done.
Right. Yeah. Each of them didn't wake up having this individual thought. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do we call that individuality? How do we even call that thought? You see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It requires that we pass a moral test to be able to perceive the beauty in those kinds of thoughts and those kinds of actions. But unless we can do that, I don't see how we can be individuals.
How we can what?
How we can be individuals. In other words, if our doctrine of individuality excludes nutcases or Republicans or the left or the libs or those young whippersnappers or boomers or anybody else, then we really are kind of the antithesis of an individual, huh?
Yeah.
Because see, what we're doing is that we're lumping all those people into a group of people that we all don't like because they are them and we are us. Mm-hmm. And so they are different than us. And so therefore we are more individuals, but they're not. Say who? The mind boggles with thoughts like that, but yet who? I don't know that people stop and ask themselves about that kind of thing. Do you?
No,
you?
I think it shows up much more of a I feel this way, it's mine, therefore I'm an individual. Not looking at where did you actually come from, why is it there, what is it accomplishing, any of that.
Right. Well, okay. Here's the takeaway from me on this kind of a thing, right? Look, we have all these isms and schisms and spasms in the U.S. today. You know, I mean, it's nothing new about that. I mean, Christ, we've been doing this since Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King, since Martin Luther. We've been arguing about what whose belief ass is blackest is really the argument's what has been going on. Okay, the Muslims and the Christians have been doing that for even longer. I mean, it's goofy freaking shit. It doesn't make any damn difference. You're all talking about the same shit. You're talking about this. If you're talking about God, it's the same God. I don't care how you call him. A rose by any other name, as Shakespeare said, will smell just as sweet or just as awful or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't change a damn thing because the name changes. Really, it doesn't. So if I take out the name and I say, okay, this is something that's actually taking place for people, then I say, okay, look, why in the name of God are you people arguing about your tribe, whatever that is, rather than saying, okay, let me pick an agreement so I can accomplish something rather than destroy things. I mean, if you're such a patriot, or you're such an adult, or you have such individual rights, then how about showing them how you individually are creative? I mean, any 3-year-old can be destructive. That's your claim to fame is. I mean, I know you're not going to like this, but I don't care whether you like it. That's not the issue. Whether you like it, the issue is that it's a true thing. Okay. Now,
Okay.
I'm not mad at you about it. I don't think you should change anything. I don't know that you can change it yourself. I don't know that it can be done in this lifetime. I don't really care whether it is or not. Really and truly, I just don't care. Okay. What I care about in this regard is something a lot simpler. That you think about it. That's it. Just take a few minutes and think about it. I'm one of the things I'm convinced about is that the American public, particularly the rural farm variety of American public that have roots in whatever they do, they're going to have to consider practical things because we are a practical people. I think that's true. And it's just not practical to do the stupid, crappy shit that city slicker Trump wants everybody to do. I mean, come on, guys. You've seen Flim Flam Men before. I mean, the guy's got orange hair. Give it a break. Give me a break. What is this? I don't care what kind of snake oil the guy sells. He gets in trouble for all of it because none of it. It's all fake. Did you thought The Apprentice was real? Are you shitting me? Nobody that ever made money on that was Trump. Nobody else made money. Well, some sponsors. That's it.
But yeah, I can see that. Yeah, just sometimes just stopping, like you just did, is like listen to what you're saying to yourself. Listen to how you're thinking about this. I mean, that's what we just did at the beginning. Taking a moment and just thinking, it's like, well, what these phrases we banding about. What do they really mean? Are they saying anything? Is it what they really mean to say?
This is the thing for me. It's like I have to stop and think about what is it people are really trying to say, right? Because when they come out of the tank, they can't ever say, they don't have practice of living in that tank space, right? And so they sound like they're 3-year-olds, like 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds trying to explain what they want. And for Christmas, and they want one of those things they saw on TV, but they don't know what the hell it's called or how to define it or anything else. But they know what they saw it, and that's what happens to people coming out of the tank. So you have to learn how to listen to those phrases. So I have to ask myself always, well, what the hell does that mean to that person? So when somebody says that I've been a Republican all my life, okay, that's cool. Why? The other side is true too. It's I've always been a liberal. I believe in gentrification. I believe in Bolshevik ideas. I really do. I'm not sure what they are, but I do believe in them. And I think you should be kind to animals and not eat them, or wear their fur. Okay, that's great. I don't mind. I'm with all that stuff, but guys, that's not individuality.
Okay. Well, John, this has been fun, but you have a full dance card today, and I know Dean's waiting to talk to you. And so I am going to sign off for now. And
see how you are. You get to this. I get to this place where it's really interesting, and then you run away, like as if I don't love you or something. Yeah. It's okay. I'm used to it. Don't worry. I shan't be hurt too much.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it. So
I know. Well, it's you. So you got the short straw today, huh? I see. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go away since you don't want to talk to me anymore. All right.
Absolutely. Never again. Bye.
Oh, yes. All right. Bye, kid.